back, guys. Those of you that don't already know, this is the SoWatchPodcast. This is your girl, Treasure.
This is your girl, Key.
And we're so happy to be back, guys. If y'all didn't check out our last video for our new series that we're doing, I Watch, She Watch, please go ahead and check that out, guys. But we have a good video for you guys today as we watched our first interactive Netflix movie. How would we say that one, Treasure?
I thought it was like,
The fact that she smiled instead of being like,
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I would say interesting to say the least. Definitely.
Interesting in a good way, but it turned out
you
badly.
have thoughts. Yeah, okay, so you have thoughts. You have a bone to pick with somebody. So that's totally cool. So the actual name of this interactive movie was called Choose Love, which is kind of funny because of the fact that you are actually, with an interactive movie on Netflix, I guess it's a new thing that they're trying, where you actually use your remote to choose different scenarios that the actual character of the movie will prompt, and you get to choose different scenarios, and then by choosing it, we'll choose a different path in which the character takes within the movie. So this is so funny enough how it's called Choose Love, in the sense that you're choosing who she's going to be picking as her love, which is kind of interesting, kind of cool that they did that. So just to kind of give some background story of this, so we have Cammy, who from her as a person, she seems like she's kind of more or less, I guess, mid-20s. I don't think she said her age in it.
Out of college and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
and I would say she's probably like 28.
20, yeah, like that 25, 28, just before 30 range, when everyone has that little crisis. Like, oh my God, where's my life going? I'm not married yet and have no kids. Which is exactly what she kind of mentioned. So she's been dating Paul, her boyfriend of 3 years relationship, but the movie kind of starts off that she goes and sees a fortune teller and it's kind of like, hey, like, where's my life going type of thing. And I don't know.
She basically describes it as like her being happy and everything, and like her life is good and all of these good things. She's in like a really, really good position with financial stability and with like her love life, and she has friends and family and all that. She has everything that would make a regular person happy and feel fulfilled, but she doesn't feel fulfilled. So basically she's seeking as to why that she feels this way. Right. And so the first choice that you make is basically if you want the fortune teller to tell you like good news or bad news. This one is not predominantly like an important one. It's just like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And then as we get more into the story, you kind of see how her relationship is with everybody. So you see how her relationship is with like her sister and like her husband and her niece and stuff like that. And then you see how her relationship is with Paul. The one thing that I will say is that her and Paul seem like they're really, really good together, but Cammy just also seems like the type of person that anyone can get along with.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Throughout this movie, it was kind of like you could literally go with anybody and she would kind of just, I don't know if I want to say change her personality, but like adapt to who she was with.
Exactly.
And she could get along with anybody.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I mean, they did it on purpose, obviously, so that the viewer could choose who she's going to be with, and it would look like a happy love story.
Yes.
So, of course, they did it on purpose, but, I mean, I guess that's the kind of a pro and con to doing, like, an interactive thing where you're choosing somebody for somebody else, and you're kind of like, okay, yes, you want to choose the guy you like, right? But at the same time, you're also like, okay, well, anyways, the way that I played it was, like, who's she even gonna, like, bond with? Or, like, who's gonna make her grow and everything like that.
There you go.
So, yeah, moving on. We did it twice. We watched it twice, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my own love story, and she's gonna do her own love story and, like, her choices. And I thought it was good to do it this way because we obviously have different personalities and we want different things. Yeah. So, I wanted to see how like my love story turned out, and like if I turned out to be happy, or like decisions I made versus, and then she wanted to see hers, right? And so
so the one thing I really have to say, and I think me and you are both gonna agree on what I'm saying, is the one thing, again, like as we've kind of started doing the last video about the one thing that I just don't like about movies now is you trying to sell me that these two characters, or trying to sell me that this character is who like they say they are to fit the movie. So like in one thing, I did say this in our last video about, you know, the couples being a match together, and like you're trying to sell me that these two are a match. Like, no, I'm not believing it. The one thing that I will say about this movie that I was not believing is Cammy, the person it is, and myself, I was not falling for the fact, you cannot sell me the fact that she had these three lovely gentlemen fawning over her.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was the problem number one.
The person that they could sung on the most was, like, literally her boyfriend, like, who her boyfriend was.
Yeah.
And the actors that they got, so basically it was, like, her boyfriend was, like, just a typical guy. Like, he's not ugly, but he's not, like, someone you're gonna, like, bend over backwards for, like, to get his attention.
Yeah.
And then you have Jack, which is the one that got away. And Cammy dated him in high school, and he is what most would say is gorgeous. He has, like, light eyes, whatever, like, tan skin. He looks like he's, like, what, like, Spanish?
Spanishish or, like, Hawaiian, like, kind of living
on
the
like,
island with the long
he's kind of on both of those vibes. It's, like, what they tried to sell, which is someone that, like, cares about
the world,
like, needy children and, like, charities and all that stuff like that. He kind of looks like he traveled the world and he saw all that. So yeah, they did that well. Then there's Rex, and he looks like he could be a rock star. He's hot too, right?
Yeah.
He's attractive, I think so.
Yeah, I thought he was
and so yeah, these two guys minus the boyfriend, which is Paul, Rex and Jack, I'm not sold on them looking at her and being like, oh, like, you're just so beautiful. So not really buying it, because she's not ugly, of course.
By the way, she's not ugly. She's not, but like,
she's, again, the same type of person that Paul is. Like, you're not gonna bend over backwards to get her attention. But
yeah, that's the one part for me. I was like, that's what made it tough for me to kind of watch a little bit, because I was like, this is just so unbelievable in a sense, right? And like the actor itself, right? Because I know I recognized her for somewhere, but you told me she was in Austin and Ally, like,
on Family Channel.
On Family Channel, right? Because she actually can sing a little bit, which you kind of hear her, like, singing in this.
She can kind of sing.
Like, kind of.
I'm not
like,
going to give her too
there,
much
right?
No, or at least in this movie. I'm sorry.
This movie. Right? So that's the one thing that I found difficult about this movie. I'm not going to lie to you. Y'all, I fell asleep it already, like, one
Me and her
time,
also didn't have, like, too many choices that were different from each other.
Right.
So that was, like, another reason.
Okay, so let's go into... This is unbelievable. But yeah, let's get into it, right?
So for my choice, I chose for her to... So basically the first choice that I think is, like, important is she goes to drop off her niece and she sees Jack, the one that got away. And she's like, okay, I have to go and say hi to him, whatever. And he tells her that he has this art show or something like that and wants to invite her. And then on top of that, he wants to take her to lunch. And I chose to not go to lunch with him because, girl, you're taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, I was playing on my personality. So, like, I don't do any of, like, that funny-ish, like, if I'm taken, like, everyone's gonna know about it, like, I'm not playing anybody, like, no, especially, like, my man, like, is the only thing I see or care about. I don't care about anybody else, so that's how I was playing it, and so I was like, nope, I'm not about to, like, be caught up here. I want to be faithful, I'm loyal to a T, it's actually my worst quality. So, yeah, I said no to lunch, because to me, that's sketchy and cheating. Not cheating, but sketchy, especially since it's your ex-boyfriend.
That's still cheating.
Because it's your ex-boyfriend, and you're saying he's the one that got away, not, like, oh, like, we had such a good past, but, like, now we're friends. No. So, anyways, so I said no. Then he's like, oh, well, if you're free later on, I have the art show, and you don't really make a choice at that point. No. So then you end up going to work, and I chose to let my boss have it, which is when my boss is making me do an ad instead of taking care of Rex Gallier, which Rex Gallier is, like, a superstar, and she's like, I'm the best technical engineer, and you're not going to give me the big celebrity. That makes no sense. And so she, like, lets her boss have it, and I chose that because I'm basically in, like, a predicament like that right now, where I'm just like, you're never gonna get anything unless you ask for it.
That's true.
And at your job, so I think that you should ask for what you want, because then how are you ever going to get anything?
Exactly.
So I chose that because I'm literally doing that right now in my current job. So again, moving on with my personality. And so then Rex, and I'm like, damn, he's the one for me. So I knew basically at the beginning, and then he has the British accent, and I was sold times two. You end up working with Rex because he requests you, and you have a choice between telling him the truth, or you have a choice between him lightly what you think about his track. And I said, let him have it, tell the truth, because yes, you could get fired, but at the same time, you never asked you asked why you didn't get the job, but he's the one who requested you. So I'm like, I can't really get fired from this job because I'm telling, because he's the one who requested me. So, like, why am I not going to say the truth?
Right.
And again, like, I'm all about, like, saying the truth or whatever, and especially, like, you're trying to help him, so what is it to not say it. You know what I mean?
Right, and then he puts out some
garbage
music that gets received.
Yeah, like something
terribly.
that you don't even really believe in, and it has your name with it. Like, no. So I chose to do that. And then I also chose, like, after the whole session is finished, you know, he's talking to you, and I chose to not tell him about the situation about Paul. And you see, you would say that doesn't match what my original thing was, which is, like, telling Jack no to lunch. But here's my thing. He wasn't flirting with me hardcore, asking me outright out. Does that make sense? So he asked for my number, and I think, like, work-wise, like, work is, like, the number one thing. So I'm like, that's a good contact to have, especially, like, obviously work's not treating you right, so that's a good contact to have. If you, for God forbid, get fired, you need someone else to, like, put you on the right track, whatever, and you worked with him, so, like, that's a good contact to have on your phone. So I took his number, but I kept it business. So the choice was to overshare, keep it business, and I kept it business-wise because, like I said, work is number one. So then we end up going home, and we're getting ready because we had plans with Paul. And we're going to, do you remember what this place is called? Copetier? Copetelier?
Yeah, like
Copier. Something like, and it's really fancy in whatever city that they're in. I think they're in LA.
LA, yes. LA.
And basically, you gotta get the beans spilled that Paul was going to propose when you went to dinner. And because you're meeting all these guys that are basically taking your interest off of Paul, you cancel the dinner. Now, I didn't actually like that. No. It was canceled because I think you should have a choice of, like, okay, going and telling him that night. If it was me, I would have literally been like, if there was a choice that was like, should I go to this dinner with Paul? And yes, I know he's going to propose, but I want to be straight up and honest with him as soon as I know something's up, because that's the type of person that I am. Like, I want to address things head on. I don't want to wait. Right. And so I wish I got the choice to go.
To actually choose to go. Yeah.
To go, but you don't get a choice, whatever, and you automatically don't go. And then you remember that Jack has this damn museum thing. Sorry, guys. I don't really care for Jack, so it's going to seem like I don't care for him, because I don't. So you have the chance to go to the museum thing, or you have the chance that Rex calls you and wants you to be on his record with him. And obviously, based on everything I'm telling you guys, what do you think I chose? Obviously, I chose to go hang out with Rex. And so we're hanging out, and we complete one of the songs with our voices on it, guys. And then, you know, fast forward, you have the escape room with Paul, and your sister's there with her husband. So the escape room with Paul is, you guys are doing pretty well, and then you end up finding one of the clues, whatever, which is a ring. And because you know that he was going to propose, you're kind of, like, scared, and you pretend to hide it. And then you get into an issue with Paul because he's kind of offended, like, okay, well, what if that is my ring, which it isn't, but it was. Why are you hiding it? What's going on here? I thought we were on the same page and everything. And then this movie really, I feel like, steered you in the direction of you choosing Jack. Yes, you get to choose who you end up with, but I feel like there were so many points that I was like, talking about Jack, like giving Jack so many chances for you to pick him. So I think it was a little bit biased, but so there's an option here that is like, oh, tell him about Jack or don't mention it. And because I'm all about Rex, I was like, well, don't mention Jack because I don't give a fuck about him. So I didn't do that. And then Paul basically is like, okay, you know what? I think we need to go on a break. So she's like, and he's like, yep, we're going on a break. He ends up leaving. And then fast forward into,
Poor Paul.
So fast forward into the next day, and you're going to work. Right?
Yep, that's the next day.
Yeah, you're going to work, right? And you get to choose whether or not you are quitting your job or if you get a raise. Yep. And I chose to get a raise. So basically, what I'm happy about for this one, this is probably one of the best choices in the movie, because it wasn't just like, okay, you get a raise. You get a raise, and then you don't know, like, what it even is, so was it even worth it, or should you have quit? It was like, you're basically haggling your boss to get the number that you wanted. So you get $15,000 extra on top of your salary, and you get to finally have control over who you're going to work with for the majority of it.
Yes.
And to me, that sounds bomb. So I was like, yep, took that, obviously. And then Rex asks me to go with him to record with his band. And I go because, hello, work-wise, again. And Rex is fine, so I went. And so then we ended up going.
Team Rex over here.
Yeah, lo and behold, we see Jack again. And you have another choice to either go with Jack and to picket. Is it picket? What's it called? Protesting.
Protesting, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a chance to protest with Jack and or sing with Rex. Choose yes or no, and I'm all about facing your fears. And so I was like, you're going to do it, girl. So there is a dream before you actually go on the plane. Yeah,
yes,
before you go on the
plane, right?
before you go on the plane, there is a dream, and you basically this is the point where you're picking your guy, like, but you can also choose to change it.
Oh, okay.
So, but this is like basically they're like, okay, who do you want? Even though you can kind of go back and fix it later, but this is who you want. And I chose Rex. And then, yeah, you go on the plane. I ended up going with Rex into the hotel by Jack. And then you end up going to your hotel room. Now, she starts talking about Paul and how he likes, like, a certain thing of chips or whatever, like, in the goodie bag that they give you at hotels. And she's like, and there's an option to call him or not call him. And I decided not to call him. Like I said, I'm like a one-track girl loyalty with Rex right now in my mind. So then we end up singing at the end. You and Rex kiss, and he says, we have something here, whatever. I want to explore it. Let's go and travel the world. Because he is more of a wanderer. He doesn't really have like a home. He's a nomad. So you choose, do you want to go with Rex or do you want to keep it business, basically? And I chose to keep it business because I was like, in my mind, I was like, I think that their connection was good, but I don't think it was like one for the stars. Like, I don't think that it was something that she couldn't find again. So, again, that's the thing that I didn't like, that they made her so likable for everybody to, like, get along with her, that no one stood out to me of, like, such a real connection where I'm like, yes, like, you guys could be, like...
Yeah.
If anybody did, it was Paul.
Yeah.
But I just don't care for Paul. So I went with Rex, obviously. But, yeah, so I chose to keep it business, and Rex was like, all right, let's make music. And that was basically that. And I also chose to keep it business because I was like, how am I about to go out with this man? And I don't know when we're going to go. I don't know when we're going to be back. But I just got a raise. Like, I can't be leaving work like that. That's, you know, right. Like, that's not responsible. I took it serious, you guys. Like, I'm like, that's not responsible. So, like, no, I can't go with you. And so, yeah.
So, in the end, you would go back to Paul. And then
no, you're just single.
You're just single and you just leave and there's no calling back to Paul. Okay,
yeah, you're just single.
That's fine. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, y'all. So, with your choices and stuff like that. So, you did your choices based off of your personality and what you would have done and what makes the most sense. But then in the end, you realize, as much as you liked Rex, you realize, like, for the long-term settle down, that was not gonna work.
Well, because they said some things about, like, being a nomad and not having a home, and she's like, the best thing about, you know, yes, I want to go and travel, but the best thing about traveling is, like, going back home to your family and going and having your sock drawer, like, that's the best feeling. That's right. And so to me, that's two starkly different points of view. Like, how does that work? Like, you can't even compromise on something like that.
No,
it's
you can't.
It's white and black, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't see them working.
No, right. So not realistic. That's actually very cool because in the dream that you have, before you get to choose all three of them, the dream that she has with Paul is that, he wakes up and gives her, like, a Mother's Day gift.
And he knows her so well, and the kids
made you serious. You guys, you want to know something really funny about this again? Again, another movie that our mother watched before us. Because I kind of saw a little bit of snippet of the one that Mom was watching. And the one that she had, she liked Jack. Like, loved Jack. So everything that Jack related, she pick. And I saw in her version of it that she's with Jack and, like, they're, like, confessing love, blah, blah, blah. Jack's like, I want more, blah, 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 to keep this fish or whatever. And then Paul interrupts and proposes to her in where they're at. And then Jack's there watching it, and then it's like, the choice is, accept Paul's proposal or stay with Jack.
So when she's with Jack, they go to, like, a restaurant, and then like Paul comes in and proposes.
Or they're standing somewhere. Like, it looks almost like maybe an airport or something. It's a place somewhere where there's people walking around. I wasn't sure where the place was.
Oh, and Paul comes.
Yeah, and Paul comes and proposes to her while she's with Jack. So it's like, pick Jack or pick Paul. And it's like,
who did Mom pick?
She actually picked Paul.
Oh.
And took his proposal because it's like, Paul confesses love, like, oh, you know you want me, I'm the stable one, I know you the best. And Jack's like, no, we can go save the world to get like their little pleas, right? And our mother ended up picking. But finally at the end she gave it and went with
I'm
Paul
not surprised
and
though,
accept
like,
his proposal.
Going with our mom's personality, I know that Mom would pick the proposal. I think at the end of the day, like, everyone is gonna choose choices that go with like what they actually want or something. Yeah. So yeah,
so like I saw that one. So I guess we saw two sides. Now here comes my side. So like the way how I started like with the same couple choices of this is like, so for me initially whenever it comes to the go to lunch with Jack, as much as in my personality this was real life, guys, I would have been exactly like you, Tresh. I would have been like, nope, that's cheating, nope, I'm not going. But obviously because you already picked that already, I'm like, okay, let's see what the other side would have been if you went with Jack. So I ended up picking the part where we go to lunch, whatever, they like talk, reminisce, yada 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 yada. And then I don't think that there's actually another choice in that, and it kind of goes back on flow with the story flow of what yours is.
Yeah, you just go to work.
And the thing is, when you go to work and then it like go easy, I picked that one. Because in my personality, I'm not a person all about drama. Confrontation. I don't like it. I don't want to have to get...
She'll do it with her family, but she won't do it with
and professional else. In a public setting. Yeah.
Especially not professionally. Like,
yeah, no, I won't be like, I won't be the type to like... take off the shoes, get up on the table, and cuss someone like that. That is not me. So I picked the go easy part, which is kind of funny because the go easy part was like, yeah, go easy, but then I feel like the part when you had picked let him have it was not really letting him have it.
Let him have it was more just like stern than like taking it easy.
Yeah, it wasn't very much
they were both like
different choice,
which is good because I would do the let him have it in that way, like professional wise still. Right. I wouldn't go like get out. Yeah,
we're not getting booked. Yeah. So then that was that choice.
Going and doing the recording with Rex or going to the art museum.
Oh, really?
And you chose to go to the art museum.
I chose to go to the art museum, which was really nice to see that whole thing. Like Jack seems like, but the only thing with Jack with Jack is that it just seems like too good to be true. Like I'm gonna be saving the world. Like that's gonna be cool, but it'll get like.
I don't.
It just seems like it'll get old.
Whenever when you see Jack's, Jack, when you see Jack and Cammy, like it doesn't look like even connection. Like no. I think she believes in what he's doing, but at the same time, like she's not as passionate about it. So it's like it's like it's like when you're at Walmart. Or whatever the U.S. has, like Target, I don't know. Target, and they're like, oh, do you want to donate today, like $2, da-da-da. It's like, you're not going to go around holding posters for people to go and donate. But you are going to be like, yeah, it's just $2, I'm going to do it. Because it's for a good cause. You know what I mean? That's two different people. And they were like that, like two different people.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going around with signs, picketing, like whatever, and you're the one that's like, yeah, it's a good cause, and writing like, just writing the money and then like not bothering to think about it later on. So like I was like, no, they're not the same type of person.
No. Again.
And you saw it especially there to me, like
100%. Like she's like, she likes that he does it because it's such a noble thing, and she would like to say like, oh my gosh, like my man is such a good man, like he did this for like, you know what I mean, like he saved dolphins and wherever and all that other stuff. But then at the end of the day you're like, am I just really just chasing it and just saying to be able to like live a life that, oh, I'm proud of you, but it's like, this isn't me, like, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like, again, just like the Rex situation of what you're saying, unrealistic, and it's just like, it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like in this case, by this point it's like what he was doing at the art museum is like all the money that was for the nonprofit to raise it and give it away, which is very, very cute, very, very noble. And the work that he did was actually fantastic, what they were showing in the movie, which is cool. But it just seems like a thing to me, like not gonna last and all that stuff like that. And I think in that choice after that, it becomes the dream, I think, in that one after that.
No, then you go to the escape room, the same thing happens. Regardless of the escape room, you guys are taking a break. You and Paul are taking a break, so it doesn't matter what you choose.
Yeah, because I actually picked tell him about Jack.
But it doesn't matter, you guys are taking a break regardless. Yeah. And you have the dream after that, and you pick your choice, and you chose...
I picked Rex in that one.
No, you didn't.
I swear I picked Rex.
No, you didn't.
At one of them I picked Rex.
No, you chose to record with Rex. No, you didn't.
I chose Rex to go one thing. I chose Rex.
You didn't choose Rex of the Dream, though.
Not in the Dream. I picked him at one point.
You picked Paul, actually, I think.
Did I pick Paul?
You picked Paul
just
at the
because
Dream.
to see, because I picked everybody in one thing.
I think because you knew everything else.
Yeah.
So this, would you have picked Paul regardless?
Like, if I was going first and doing my version?
Yeah, and you never saw Mom's.
Yeah.
Would you have picked Paul?
No, Paul was definitely not my favorite.
Who?
I think I would have still picked Rex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think I would have still picked Rex.
You didn't.
I didn't do it then. I know I picked Rex at some point. I think it must have been... It was one of the points. I don't remember. Maybe it was to go sing with him on stage. I don't even remember now. Shoot, I know I picked him at some point.
You did choose Rex, but that was to overshare.
Oh,
and tell him.
Yes. Okay,
and
that's
tell
what
him.
it was. That's what it was. Okay, so no, you're wrong. You're actually correct. Yeah, in this one, in the Dream, I did not pick Rex. I actually picked Paul in the Dream.
You chose Paul.
And I wanted to see what it was, and I didn't even do anything.
Yeah, so for Paul, basically, it's that after you chose to quit the job, you go straight to Paul's house.
Yes. And I chose to quit.
You chose to quit.
I chose to quit. Yes.
And then you go to Paul's house. That is when he proposes. If you choose Paul, it is a shorter movie, I realized.
I realized too.
So yeah, you went and chose Paul, and then you guys are talking, and he's like, and you just say like, okay, you know what, I'm done. I don't need to figure it out. You're who I've always wanted.
Yes, that's right.
And then he proposes, and then you guys kiss, and the movie's done. So that is a shorter movie if you choose Paul.
Yeah.
And so after we were finished with hers, I went back and I was like, you know what, I want to see other outcomes, kind of. So you kind of fell asleep here, so I'll just tell you what happened. Back, and I actually, whenever we're in the hotel room with Rex, I actually chose to call Paul. And so you call Paul, and you're telling him that, you know, obviously you're nervous, like he knows about you, not why you don't sing anymore.
Yeah, stage
and so he's like, well, if you want me there, like, I'll come.
Oh,
yeah, he's like, if you want me there, like, you know, and she's like, I'm gonna be so nervous, and he's like, well, you always said that I made you calm. And then so you can choose to have him come or not. And then so I chose both, but the one to have him not come is gonna be the same outcome, like you ended with Rex, right? But the one with him coming, he actually comes. And remember in mine, whenever Cammy and Rex were singing to each other, when Paul there, she's singing to him only, and Rex is trying to get her attention and look at her and sing to her, but she's just looking at Paul. And then you end up with Paul. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then you just end up with Paul.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you do have another, that's what I'm saying. So you have like another shot to like get Paul back.
Oh, wow. I like that story then. The best then.
I like that story too.
That one was nice then.
And then I chose like to not choose my career and just choose the man. And we ended up just going to Paris, and then we're like kissing or whatever.
With Paul?
No, with Rex.
With Rex. Oh, and so you actually picked the ending of let's see where this goes,
and then
you go to Paris. Okay.
Yeah, and we go to Paris.
Well, it's not that bad either. Okay, so it does seem like it's interesting. It seems like the outcomes after you chose to explore are way better than what we originally started with. So the movie actually got better, which is not bad at all. So again, I agree with you. I feel like this movie made you like. It kept putting Paul back in this story, which makes sense because she was with him for the longest. But in some of these choices, it made you honestly be like, hey, Paul's out of the picture, and he just comes in at the end for the swoop. And it's like, okay, you have your fun.
Well, the soup thing, I wish I saw the soup thing, because he doesn't soup in anywhere else. Like,
except for the one with that.
She chose to call him, right? Yeah. But yeah, except when you tell me whenever I'm like, oh, damn. Like, okay, like,
yeah, like Jack's there.
I would have chosen Paul too then. Like, he's coming in and like, he's like, no, like, you're not having her. Like, I'm having her. Which is like what I want.
So there was actually 2 moments in this movie where they actually did that, where she had a choice to pick between the two and the other was just completely out of the way. Because it was Jack and Paul, and then goes Paul and Rex.
So basically it was like, I chose Rex to, right? It's like I chose Rex and I went with him to go travel to Las Vegas or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, here comes Jack. Do I want to choose Jack? Are you sure you wanted Rex from the dream, right? Are you sure you wanted Rex? I'm like, no, I want Rex. Then it's like, okay, are you sure you want Rex versus Paul though?
Yeah.
And so it gives you a chance to choose Paul.
So basically I realized at a certain point
they let you have a chance to basically go back to and Paul, be like, you know what?
But then it also makes it seem like after a certain point, I think after the dream, like completely, if you didn't pick Jack, he's out of the picture.
Yeah, after the dream, I don't think you could, I don't know, because I don't know how whenever Mom was with it, could you pick Rex at any point after she chose?
No, I don't think you, actually, no, hold on. I think, and her, because like, guys, like, I'm sorry, like, my mom was watching it, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I see this part. But I think if I'm not remembering correctly, because I don't want to mix movie versions together, there is a part where I think you can pick Rex and pick all three again. So I think it's like another thing. I would love to see that.
Okay, but yeah. So I think it's like you make your final decision, so the movie knows kind of like what trajectory you're on. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you're sure about this guy versus this guy, but okay, but are you sure about this guy versus that guy?
Yeah,
you know,
that's so interesting.
So that was cool. Yeah.
So that's good because you know what? Okay, so now that we've kind of gone through that little mess of that puzzle, which I do feel like no matter which way you veer off the road, it still comes back to 3 different roads you're taking. But with the detours and whatever. But again, I do think that Cammy and Paul was the OTP though, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
It was good to get
you never saw Paul's interest. Like, we don't know what it is. I guess you could say escape rooms, maybe. I don't know. And they both like that, so yes.
Stuff. But that could just be because they know each other, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. You never really saw that side of Paul like you did with the other ones. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say for sure what we saw, it was Paul hands down that I would be like, okay, that's who you're gonna marry. That's who you're gonna marry.
The best fit
anyways, but and you obviously you're with him anyway for 3 years. Like, why don't you know? Yeah, I think it's kind of telling that
this grass
could be
this grass greener.
I don't know. To me, it's telling that I think like if I'm like head over heels in love with somebody, like I'm in love with someone. Not saying I love them. I'm in love with someone, which she says she's in love with Paul. I couldn't ever fall for anybody else. Like, right. I couldn't even I don't even want to like flirt with anybody else or you know, take it to that level because like that's disrespectful to like who I'm in love with. You know, so I just think that, you know, it was telling that she was able to like oh, like I'm having this connection with like Rex and like, oh, we almost kissed or whatever. I wanted to kiss him. No, like if you're in love with someone, whatever, like you don't want to kiss anybody else, especially as a girl. Like, you don't want to kiss.
You know what
else.
It is too, though. I feel like so in a way, this movie was kind of somewhat had some realistic aspects to it, in the sense, what would someone do if, you know, you go through that phase where you're like, okay, is this what it is? Like, I should be super, super happy to have all this, but something's missing.
But that's my point.
And then you meet some superstar.
But that's exactly my point. Like, I don't think that. That's my point. Like, Paul is OTP for this, but is he OTP in any other circumstance? No, because she had that feeling of like being unfulfilled. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I think if you're in love with somebody and not just comfortable, like I think she like loves Paul obviously, and she's really, really comfortable with him. But I think it was like best friend vibes to me.
Yeah, I think
I didn't see any like. Oh, like so in love, like with her with anybody, like no, at all. So
there's definitely lack of excitement there.
Yeah,
like adventure that I think
it's like
she needed.
It's like I could see this road and I know exactly where it's gonna go, and okay, I'm gonna choose that because I'd rather know than have surprises. Yeah, especially with her parents or whatever. Yeah, but I don't think that Paul is her one. If I'm being honest, just the one out of the 3.
That one out of exactly. There you go. 1 out of the 3. Yeah, no, and again. Realistic in some aspects that people go through those phases like, okay, is this really it? And then they go and do their exploring with other people, and then, you know, you pray in that sense that the person that wanted you after your break, you find back, oh yeah, you were the one after you went and experimented. But unfortunately,
I'm like a stone cold believer in like, if you don't know, then it's a no.
It's a no, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you don't know, then it's a no.
Yeah, like no has no in it.
Yeah. Just like I think if you're on a break, that's broken up.
I think a break is broken up. Yeah. A break is broken up. But it's like, we're going to come back to this. You know what I mean? Like, you know that you're kind of staying in pause. That's basically
and you're going to have a conversation.
But you're broken up.
Are we continuing or are we not?
Yeah.
Like, that's like it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that.
So, what are we giving this rating here, Tej?
Okay, I think the concept of having like an interactive movie is really cool. I think that, however... I'm glad Netflix did this and I don't know if this was the first one that they did it for and then they started to do more, but there is a lot more interactives on Netflix now. I do think that they had to focus so much on doing the interactive part that there was like such a low budget for this movie and the acting was shoddy, you know, the singing was shoddy, the wardrobe.
I know, right? You were
the wardrobe. I literally was like bitching to her about it. I was like, the wardrobe, what is this? She's wearing the same outfit in the entire movie. Yeah. And just a different color. Yeah. I kid you not. Yeah. If it was not interactive, it would literally be like
I'm not watching it again.
A 1.
1? Oh, shoot. So you're saying this movie was worse than One More Time?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, you guess what? Because I guess it's unrealistic, this whole falling in love crap. So I totally get where you're coming from.
One More Time had twists and turns, and like she ends up being in love with the girl, like her best friend, all that stuff like that. That is like, oh, I couldn't watch the movie and tell you that was gonna happen.
That was gonna happen. It was
but this, like, obviously you're choosing it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't like the character.
Yeah.
I don't like the character. I don't like the acting. I don't like anything about it.
Yeah, no. So
I liked Rex.
You liked Rex. I liked his accent. Yeah, I liked Rex's accent. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. I'm giving it literally, this is just as bad to me as 13 Going on 30.
Oh, 13 Going on 30.
Remember, that was the worst movie I rated, and I would not ever watch it.
Yeah.
I would not watch this again. No, hands. I just think, so it's a good way to, so I'll give Netflix credit in the sense that this movie as a whole, if I'm just looking at it as a movie, but the interactive part of it was great. It's a good stepping stone into it. And I guess it had to be the starting point for you to choose. So, like, let's do a choose love situation.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see some of the other movies and the interactive part and how it is, if it's going to be bad or if it's better than what this is.
I'd be interested if they did it in a different way, which is, like, not me choosing which love I'm going to, but, like, which path. Like, even if, like, they had, like, the writers or whatever had, like, no, this person's gonna end up with this person regardless, or this person is gonna take a road and they're gonna be single. It doesn't matter who. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm choosing both roads, but they're, in a way, like, there's not 3 choices. I think that's too much. Like, I want to be, like, down this road or down this road and see what happens. Much like and I want it to be real. I want it to be realistic. Yeah, like I want it to be realistic in this. Yes, exactly. Look both ways, but I'm choosing, and each step the same way. But, like, yeah, I don't want it to be like there's 3 people and then, like, it seems like such a short movie. Like, at the end, all everyone ever did, besides it was her and Paul, which tells you, like, her and Paul were the OTP because they always get married, but they only just kiss and that's it. Like, you don't see anything else.
Yeah, it was a little.
So it was like
super PG. Like, not yet to see what they would do if they do another kind of love situation story, or do they go like a whole like comedy and then you choose different things in the comedy? Who knows? Or you do like a whole action movie thriller type of crap, like, oh, go downstairs and check out what it is, or open the door, turn on the light.
I don't know if they would do that, because that's just
though.
Literally playing a game in story mode.
That is true. That is like,
you know what I mean? Versus mode. Like, actually, like, the love aspect is different than if I was to do, like...
It'd be interesting to see what they would do next. All right, Netflix, I guess we got another one to watch to see, like, where it's going. But yeah, it's definitely getting a 2 for me. Yeah, just a no. Real bummer coming off of Look Both Ways. But it's okay, guys. It's going to come right back up. Because guess what? In our next video, we're going to be doing Accused, the movie that I made, Treasure Watch. And we're going to see what she thinks about it.
You guys, I'm having such a hard time. Like,
she hasn't even watched it, y'all.
I'm having a hard time. I'm just like, every time I'm like turning on my TV, I'm like, I'll do that later. So.
It's not that bad.
It was gonna be next week's video.
It's not that bad, y'all. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And, join us next week, y'all. Y'all be part of the fam and everything like that, all right? Let's see what she's going to give that rating. I'm super interested about this, guys. I'm super, super excited, all right, y'all? Key out.
Treasure out.